welcome one, welcome all to the Multicultural Misfits podcast. To my left, I have my beautiful co-host, Omar. We have our other wonderful co-host, Gio.
Jordy.
And then we have our first female guest, B.
Breaking color barriers and
breaking
sexual barriers.
Breaking color and sexual barriers one day at a time,
We
guys.
do it all. We do it all.
Say
Hello.
hello to the good folks, B.
Hello, thank you for having me, you guys.
Welcome,
I'm
B.
honored.
Welcome.
What is your
Welcome.
name?
B. My name's B, like the
Okay.
bug, buzz.
Buzz.
So how do you know B is primarily Gio's friend? She's becoming our friend very quickly. So how do you know the most wonderful Gio? And then we'll tell you how we know the most wonderful Gio.
Y'all really want to know? Can I
Yeah,
tell the story?
please.
I would love
Long
to hear.
story
The
short.
more embarrassing, the better, by the way.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
very embarrassing.
He was okay. So he swears that this isn't how it happened, but we met on Tinder.
That's probably how it happened.
I knew you before.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Either-
we met
okay.
on Tinder. I went through a Tinder phase 2017, and I don't know why I swiped on him.
Damn. That's why. bro.
Look at that though. You made a good friend.
I love you. I love you. I
That's
4
really
years
do.
later, y'all still
crazy.
friends.
You don't know-
Yeah,
Tinder is
but-
about
don't know why
friendship.
you
It's not even about dating.
exactly.
That's what it's
maybe
about.
maybe his profile interested you. Maybe something on it was like
Yeah.
you're like, this guy's funny.
What's on
like
there? What's on his bio? What's he
I
got
was
on
lying.
there?
I forgot. I honestly forgot what it was, and like that was a blur. But somehow we started like talking more and becoming friends, and like we were talking for like at least a good year or two
I
before
think
we
so.
actually met up,
Yeah.
and then we finally did this was 2019 that we had finally like met up, and we just became best friends from there. We were at Axelrad. He gave me an edible. We drank.
I did give you an edible.
which
Did it-
edible did you give her?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think it was from you.
Oh, from me?
It was
Well,
like
it all comes
It
full
comes all
circle.
full
It all
circle.
comes
I
full
Yeah.
circle. Was it like was it a Rice Krispie or a
Reese's
like
Puffs.
Reese's Puffs?
It was
Yeah.
it was
I had made those.
You
I
made
freaking
Reese's
love
Puff
Reese's
edibles?
Puffs.
Yeah.
It's a hobby of mine.
Oh, Reese's Puffs.
They were good, by the way.
Yeah.
See?
They
man?
smacked that night.
Okay, let me tell the real story.
Let Gio tell the real
So
story.
the real story is I don't know how we followed each other, but I followed you on
remember that.
Instagram, and I was in them DMs, and I was in them DMs.
Gio be
working.
lurking in the DMs.
I was working them DMs for about a year, and then it all paid off, and then it got in there, and then we just became friends.
Yeah, we just
That was
were
like-
best buds.
I don't know. I think we first met up in like 2019, but then
It was 2019.
yeah. Before that, we were just like, I don't fucking know.
So were you nervous meeting up? Were you like, is this guy gonna kill me? Or what? Like, what'd you think of Gio? Like
I thought he was an asshole, honestly.
for real?
Yeah.
Based on your digital communication or meeting him face to face?
No. On our digital communication, I
Oh
thought he
my
was an
God.
asshole.
Why do you say that?
Okay, like, all right, so at the time, I was just kind of like a Jesus freak, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And
You were a Jesus freak?
Are you fucking kidding?
You're gonna have to elaborate more.
it was a short phase. But okay, so basically, like, I was still living with family, and they're Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, technically, only my aunt is the one that's like a diehard Jehovah's Witness.
They witnessed Jay-Z.
But yeah, I just remember like, I don't know, I just felt like brainwashed at the time, and I was like, oh, I gotta serve the Lord. I gotta like save myself, you know? And then I remember telling him about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to like Jesus camp and learn how to do learn how to make movies and videos because they have programs for that. And he's just like, lame. Like, what the
Hey, tell her how it is, Gio. You gotta break her out of that cycle. Don't let her get caught in
Oh,
that.
really? Honestly, he really did.
Took
And
her
I was
dream and
like,
shit all
Going to
over it.
Jesus camp.
At that time,
did.
I was recently like. At the time, I was like finally open about me not fucking with God, and so I was like, "Bro, I'm gonna talk to somebody that fucks with God. Like, who am I doing this shit?" So every time you say you're doing something, I was like, "Bro, who gives a fuck?"
Yeah, he was always like just like dismissing everything I said. He's like, "What the fuck?" Like lame, and I'm like, I'm like, "What the hell?" I'm like, of course, when we first met, he was trying to talk to me, and I'm like, "This dude wants me to." Like, how are you gonna sway me if you talk to me like that?
That's how you're supposed to do it. You got to show them the light. And
Yeah, he was like dominance, and I'm like, oh.
Jesus wouldn't like this. I don't.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I don't think God wants me to be with you.
Wait, so your family were Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah, they're still Jehovah's Witnesses.
Wait.
So
So,
did-
go ahead.
Go ahead, Omar.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. So, what exactly do Jehovah's Witnesses believe in? I know they don't do the holidays.
Clarify
Yeah,
for us, because I really don't know.
Honestly, the way I grew up, I bounced around like, you know, different churches like Lutheran, Methodist, Catholic, name it. You know what I mean? Then, of course, Jehovah's Witnesses came knocking on our door one day, and I was about 9 years old, and me and my brothers, like, you know, we were like still like fairly young. And I just remember, I don't know why, but my mom and my aunt thought it was a good idea to like make us all Bible study.
Sounds fun.
The only person who took it seriously was my aunt, so she got baptized and everything. Basically, if I guess what they believe in is the truth, you know, so they're not necessarily just looking at just religion. They're looking at events that have happened, you know, in history, in the world, and they add it up, and it's just kind of like a big ass puzzle piece, I guess, that they put together. I'm not gonna lie, some of the things that they say does kind of make sense, but I feel like it's just another, for me, just another scam to get someone into like a religion, an organized religion. Like, yes, okay, like they're just able to sell people better, you know, on like joining the church and getting baptized and everything, because I could go on for days about like the things that I've seen like happen in these churches and stuff.
The things I've witnessed.
Please. I mean, I don't know any Jehovah's Witnesses. I know Omar probably doesn't. Nor does
Yeah.
Gio.
I know one, but she's not a real Jehovah's Witness.
I knew one that was. We went to middle school with him, and he was a big old dude.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a dude. Oh,
Yeah.
I knew a girl.
He was like, only 200,000 people going to heaven, and I was like, what's the point of me trying?
Well, I'm not even
That's
gonna.
not, they don't believe in heaven and hell.
Oh,
They
he was a
don't-
bad Jehovah's
I mean,
Witness
well,
then.
no, they believe in heaven. Heaven is real, of course, but heaven is like, you know, kind of like the White House, you know, like government officials are there. People that are helping in God's government, you know, go to heaven and they become angels, right? The 144,000, you know?
Get out of town.
And so it's like not everybody
not
goes to
real.
heaven. However,
It's not even 200,000. It's 144.
It's 144. Like, what an odd number. You know what I mean? like, wow. But they just believe that, you know, if you're called to do God's work and God's will, you know, like you'll feel it, and you know, basically it's this whole ritual. Like, it's like during what people would call Easter, I guess. You take part in like eating the bread and drinking the wine, and they'll like pass it around in the church and everything, but not everybody eats from it. You only eat from it if you honestly feel like you're meant to work for God as an angel, and the rest just live happily in paradise, you know, like as a human here on earth, you know. And that's what they believe in. Hell, this is where they got me. This is something that kind of like made sense to me. They said hell is not real. Like, if God really like sent Jesus down here to die for you, use your common sense. Okay, you're already forgiven. Why would he have hell? You know, if you're already like forgiven, why would he send you somewhere in a place of torment? And they don't believe in like ghosts. Like, once you die, you just die and that's it. Pure darkness. And if you've
But your soul goes to heaven if you're part of the 144.
I guess it's
You're in the
there's a lot
144
of holes
club.
in
The
it
elite
still,
144.
like everything
it
else.
sounds
You
like
know?
it. Of course, just
But-
like with all other organized religions.
Exactly,
Pretty much,
but they've at least made the most sense. They could at least explain themselves and what they believed in better than, like, I guess, like other Christians.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what made you kind of like stray away from it? Was it Gio?
It was me.
He planted the seeds.
I did.
I actually started doing a lot of acid.
Oh, there you go. Acid opens it right up.
The
Opens
devil's
up
not real, motherfucker. I'm
the
looking at
pineal
him right
gland.
now.
I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Wait, tell us about the first time you did acid.
oh my God. So I had started talking to this guy, and he had asked me if I had ever done acid. I'm like, no. And he was like, would you like to try acid? And I said, yeah. Like, this was somebody that like I really liked or whatever. So I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna do it. And he came over to my house, and he had the tabs, and I didn't know what to expect. I just remember, I don't know if this is TMI, but like I just remember taking the tab. He was like, okay, now we wait 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm just like anticipating it. I just remember, like, after we were done like having sex, I went to the restroom, and then I was sitting on the toilet, and I was like, why the fuck is the shower curtain like, why does it look like that?
Oh, hell no.
And I was looking at the floor, and like everything was just moving, and I was like, I remember like laughing hysterically like on the toilet, like, oh my God. And then I like remember like I like peed, and then like I'm sorry, I didn't even like wipe my ass or even think. I ran out like butt ass naked to the room to him, and I'm like, dude, do you see this? He's like like just with this fucking look, like, yeah. So he started putting on these YouTube videos, and like it was so weird. He put on these videos, I guess, that were like devil shit.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was like devil
Why
shit.
would he do that? To
Dude,
freak you out?
That is
What
the
the
worst
Yeah.
case scenario. That's the worst kind of shit. That is worst case scenario.
He just put on like this music video with like this devil shit, and I'm like, it was on my laptop. I'm like, no. And I was like, we're not watching that.
That's
'Cause
kinda funny.
freaking
Yeah,
me
That is
out.
kinda
I'm glad you
funny.
put your
That's
foot
kinda
down.
funny.
'Cause
Who
fuck
in their
that.
right mind like
Yeah.
recreationally watches that kind of shit on acid?
Yeah,
Like, for fun.
I
He's
guess
just sitting there
he
chilling
was
like-
way more
Yeah.
used to it than I was, though. Like
That probably plays into it. He probably thought it'd be funny. He's like, I'm gonna show her some fucking
Yeah.
shit. It'd be hilarious.
I
Did
just-
it freak you out?
And low-key, it is kind of funny, but it's very fucked up.
Yeah, my first acid trip, you know, like most people, I guess they're like, some people are like, oh, I didn't have any type of revelations. And most people are like, oh, yeah, like I understand the meaning of life. Me, I was just like, yo, this shit is fun. I'm going to do this again. You know, I did acid straight for like a good, like 3 years, maybe, like just like microdosing, doing it like every 2 weeks. Like I went through like a real like psychonaut period. And I just remember straying away from religion more, because then I started to think about the things that like Jehovah's Witnesses would say to me, and like it resonated like so deep with me. I'm like, oh my God, like I need to watch out what I'm doing. I might meet God, and eventually, like, you know,
He's going to be upset at me.
You've been taking acid for 3 years.
Exactly.
I've been watching you.
You're not allowed in here.
You're not part of the 144.
Yeah, it's like nah. But yeah, I just remember like eventually I did have like what people would call an ego death, and then from there I was like, yeah, like nobody ever really knows what the truth is, I guess, and we can all just like sit around and believe what we want, but eventually, like, if you're sitting here like listening to like religious people, you know, like listening to their scriptures and spit all this like sermon out and shit, they don't know themselves neither. So it's just, I kind of accepted that, and I was like, yeah, it's just kind of an unknown, you know, it's just stories that you have heard from other people, so it's like no one really knows for themselves. So I was just like, I let it be what it was.
So,
you know?
so like with this ego death, so I've heard this described by people, and they've said that when they experience ego death, it feels like the voice inside their head changes to another voice.
Oh, it's the most terrifying thing in the world. Like,
Can you describe? Is there? Because I know, like with experiences, psychedelic experiences, specifically with acid, it's hard to describe in words, right? But if you can you describe what it's like to experience something like ego death?
so basically, this is exactly like how an ego death will happen. If you're like watching somebody, they're talking in a loop. They're telling like 5 different stories, and they can't finish either of those stories. They just keep going back and forth. Like, it's crazy. So you're literally like talking yourself in a circle. Your thoughts are like going in like a full circle, and it's hard to describe the feeling that you get, but it's like eventually you die. So it's like, of course, like when we die, our physical body, you know, like it goes away. But have you ever thought about like where your mental state is going, like how it disintegrates? It's like your thoughts are diminishing, you know, and you feel that. And eventually, like for me, I remember like pure blackness, and then waking up and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm looking at my best friend, and she's like, I think you died. And I'm like, and like I'm still tripping, you know, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I died? I'm dead? I'm dead right now? Like right now?
Bitch, you been God the whole time?
I'm like, are we in hell? She's like, no.
Are we in hell?
She's
We
like,
both died, yeah.
no. Like she eventually, it took her a while to like explain it for me, but like as soon as like I came out of like that state of mind, it just, everything was unknown. Like I didn't even want to walk through the door, because I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like it's like, it's the door. You
What
know?
the hell's
And
out
like
there?
I deadass looked at her, and I'm like, you want me to walk through there? And she's like, it's the door. And yeah, it's, you basically like, you experience the closest thing there is to experiencing death, I guess. Like your thoughts are just gone, and you're blank for like a good 5 minutes maybe, and like there's nothing going on. And so when you wake up, you're just kind of like what was that, you know, like what happened to me? I don't remember what happened in like the past 15 minutes. Like,
Oh my god.
it's just,
That sounds
it's scary.
terrible.
That
It's
does
so
sound
hard.
terrible. Yeah. Like
it can be scary, of course, because like who the fuck like wants to die, like, you know,
especially
like
on
mentally,
that. Like
yeah.
before and after, just that black period, like
Yeah.
you're tripping.
Yeah.
That just makes it all the more scary.
Because I was having fun before, and then the next thing I know, I'm like laying in my best friend's bed, and I'm like, hey, weren't we all dancing before this?
Now everyone's fucking tripping and like just
Yeah.
like sinking into
And
their
I'm like,
seat.
weren't we fucking dancing before this? And now I'm like laying down, and like I'm freaking the fuck out, you know? Because I'm like, what the hell was that? And like I was a little hysterical, because I'm like, yo, like I've never experienced that before. It was pretty traumatizing.
Jesus.
No, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
you just like no thoughts, no anything, just straight
just
blank.
straight blackness. And of course, like while it was happening, I didn't notice that it was happening, you
Yeah.
know? until I
So you,
woke
like,
up.
snapped out of it?
Yeah, until I snapped out of it. And then I remember I just kept blacking out. Like after that, it was hard for me to like stay awake because I'm like, nah, I do not need that to happen again. But it happened again. And I was like, shit, round 2.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Dude, when I took acid twice in my life.
Yeah.
And one of the times was a strong dose. And when I took it, I could not shut the voice in my head off. Like it was just constantly shit. So I thought like an ego death would be like you stop believing everything you felt like you believed before. Like you feel like you have a refreshed mind.
Yeah.
Like from an outsider's perspective. That's what I thought an ego death is. I didn't know an ego death was literally like like the feeling of
inside
a
of you
death.
is dying.
That's literally
And you
what
wake
it
up and you're like
is.
a baby just born.
People paint
Kinda.
Wow.
people like to paint the wrong image of like what acid is or what ego deaths are. Like it's this beautiful thing. It's like you need real therapy after that. Like you need real therapy. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I've experienced like some weird shit, like traumatizing shit, I guess. So like of course all those things come up. And then everything that you've ever thought, you know what I mean? Bad thoughts, good thoughts, scary thoughts. Like you're scared that you're going to manifest that in like some kind of physical form because you're tripping. So you're already seeing shit, you know? And like that was my main issue is like, okay, like I'm scared of like seeing an actual demon. Like I remember I watched Bandersnatch on acid once.
Oh,
And I
that
was scared.
horrifying.
Yeah, and like once he started seeing monsters, I was like, shit, is that gonna happen to me? So that stayed in my head, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna see a monster. Like, I'm like, and this is my
I feel like that's the shit that people do in movies on acid. Like when I did it, that would have terrified me. I tried watching like normal things with normal people, and even that terrified me because everyone's face looks like disfigured.
Yeah,
it looks like you put a filter on it and you twirled it a little bit. Everything just looks strange, and you feel like something's not right.
Yeah,
that's how I felt. I was like, I can't watch this, or like get on social media and look at people that I thought I knew, and I'm looking at them and I'm like, bro, this is not like
they look like lizard people.
Person.
Yeah, like this is. Oh, I'm like,
who is this Play-Doh person? This is not real.
I think one time I was like looking at, I forgot who I was. Like, I went on Instagram and I was like, let me look at Kylie Jenner or something, and I'm like high as fuck, and I'm like, oh, like you saw like the rawness in everyone's face. It's like, okay, yeah, it's just so hard to describe. It's just everyone looks so real, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad you guys brought up psychedelics because I actually had a dream recently, right? So in the dream, one of my cousins had come over, and me and my parents were living in a ranch house, just me and my mom and my dad. And my cousins came over, my girl cousins, and they brought some mushrooms, chocolate-covered mushrooms. And I knew what they were, but I guess my parents didn't. And they took like 3 or 4, like big ones, right? So then in the dream, my parents are tripping, but like they're having really good trips. Like they're like super happy and like they're laughing and like they're running around. And it's like a really intense dream. And it gets like super like emotional. And in the dream, I'm like crying and shit. Like it's very like good emotional. Actually.
Yeah,
it's like a beautiful kind of emotional. And I wake up, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Like,
and it makes me think
too
like,
happy of a dream.
what would it be like actually tripping with your parents? Like I used to talk to a girl and she would smoke weed with her mom. And I would smoke weed with her and her mom. So like I'd pass the blunt to her mom.
That's fire.
Isn't that the craziest thing ever? Like I can't imagine. What?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing stuff like that.
with your parents?
No, yeah, my
Never.
parents.
Especially not somebody else's parents.
My parents aren't even about drinking, so like
Yeah.
it would be an issue. Smoking in front of them, let alone acid.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Oh
mom,
my
let's do
God.
acid together.
No, my parents they would start tripping the moment.
Yeah, my parents.
The moment it hit.
Eventually, they warmed up to it though. Like my mom, she's like she used to be so against me smoking, and I remember like I openly like when I came back from college, I was like, Mom, yeah, I'm a smoker, and she's like, she was just shook her head. She's like, hell no. But it was.
Could have been
she
worse.
was still surprised. She would like come in my car and everything. Of course, I'm hotboxing, so it smells like loud as fuck. And then I'm like, okay, I smoke. This isn't a secret, right? But she would still be mad about it. And she's like, you still smoke? Of course, I still smoke. And then I remember, I found out that my family in Puerto Rico, weed is legal over there. I
had no idea.
They all smoke, and I didn't know that they were smokers like that. So like my cousins, my aunts, everybody smoking. So I remember like last time I went over there, we all went to the dispensaries like early in the morning, got some edibles, some weed, rolling papers, everything that we needed for the day. And we went to the beach and we all just got high. And then I was like, I remember looking at my mom and I was like, see, it's not that bad. Like the family's doing it, you know? And she's just like, I'll eat a gummy. And I was like, okay. So she took like half a bite of a gummy. She was gone. And then I remember we were
Was she geeking?
Yes, bro. And like she was the one who was driving too. So we're in
Oh
the
my
Jeep,
God.
4-wheel drive in the mountains in Puerto Rico. Them shits is
no.
not easy to drive through. It's like a whole rainforest, like going through a whole rainforest. And I'm like looking at my aunt and I'm like, are you sure she got this? 'Cause she's high as fuck right now.
Not high as fuck. Just she.
We made it safely, but yeah, I was kind of terrified.
Did you have a good time though?
She did. She would no. Actually, she was like, "Damn, I'm tired." I'm like, "I need you to stay awake though, because I'm not driving."
I'm
Yeah.
gonna pull over, take a nap. Y'all
Yeah, going
Y'all wait in the car for a
downhill
second.
a fucking mountain. I'm like, no, you're not.
Oh fuck no! Yeah, I didn't know weed was legal in Puerto Rico either. What the hell's
legal.
a dispensary in Puerto Rico look like?
So
Is it cheap over there, or is it
It's
like
cheap.
a Cali thing where it's like expensive?
no, it's fairly cheap. Like we got like I think 25 milligram gummies and like Reese's candies, all types of shit. Some edibles are like $5, or you can get some keef for like $5, and it'll be like about like a little container about this big, about this wide.
That's fucking
you know?
solid.
Yeah, like the weed is fairly priced over there, and like they grow it there. You know, like my cousins, they work in the cannabis industry over there, and like my cousin, she's a bud tender, but now she's trimming cannabis leaves for a lab.
So those are the
You can't just
Yeah.
say that and move right past.
Oh,
it.
bud tender?
Bud
tender?
tender, yeah.
That just goes around, just waters them, kisses them.
Yeah, she's a
tucks them
bud
in.
tender, yeah, and it's like a bartender, but a bud tender. You
Yeah.
know, you're
That's
like
fun.
selling the stuff to people and everything in the dispensaries. You of course have to have your license for it and everything. People who don't have a license aren't allowed to go in, but of course I told my cousin, like, you have weed maps on there, like apps and stuff. You can see what they have in the dispensaries available. And I told her, okay, like get 5 of these, 10 of these, and like maybe 8 grams of this. And she's like, okay. So she goes in there and like comes back with a bunch of shit. And like, we're gonna have a good ass time.
We're gonna
Yeah.
let's send them to a
And,
shopping
like,
list.
Yeah, dead ass. Like it's really nice over there.
Okay, I thought you meant
That's
bud
dope.
tender as in the people that like the growers.
Oh yeah. Well,
I
That's
thought,
also
but
funny.
bud tender as in like she's selling the actual
yeah,
bud. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, getting deals.
Yeah.
What a sweet ass. That sounds like fun.
And it
Jill,
is.
let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
No, let's
It's
all go
gonna
to Puerto
get-
Rico.
Let's
Man.
all go to Puerto
Go to
Rico.
Puerto Rico.
guys.
I'm trying to
It's
meet
very
all the
nice.
bud tenders.
Yeah.
I'm trying to meet all the
So,
bud
so you're like
tenders.
full Puerto Rican, or
No, I'm mixed with Mexican, Puerto Rican, and Creole.
oh, so she's a mutt just like us almost.
Yeah.
Call me stupid. What exactly is Creole?
It's a
Creole.
lie that black women say.
It's like
Yes.
it's a lie.
All
It's like an
of them
African
say
descent
that is
that was
Creole.
colonized by
hilarious.
French people, right? So
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah, I believe
French,
so.
but their roots are from Africa.
I mean,
What the fuck is
everybody. I don't know if they're.
Isn't it like Louisiana? Isn't I think
But
it's
they're in
Omar said like Louisiana, but I'm pretty sure it was like
Like
originally.
what part of like what?
I don't
where
know
They,
what part
where
of
they
Afri-
actually from? I know-
somewhere from Africa, and they brought them over to Louisiana, and that's like that became the Creole culture for black people.
Well,
Because
hey,
I'm not
Louisiana
mistaken.
belonged to the French at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like French.
And then my
you
man
can
bought
tell
it for
the
like
influence.
$10.
Yeah.
He bought that whole cheap.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just it wasn't Louisiana. It was like everything in the
Yes.
middle of the entire U.S. He just bought.
He bought like
"I will take it."
Mississippi.
What the
and-
fuck was that? The Louisiana Territory.
Louisiana
something?
Purchase.
Louisiana
Louisiana
Purchase.
Purchase.
Yeah,
That's
Louisiana
what the fuck
Purchase.
Thomas
it
Jefferson,
was.
genius. It's such a
Genius.
good
and look
idea
at,
to buy that.
and look at it
Yeah.
now. You can see titties there.
You can see titties.
You could throw
Dude,
beads at
Louisiana
'em.
is
You
a
can see
good
titties.
time. New Orleans is a fun fucking time.
Hey, it is.
It's
bro.
fucking gross.
Those people have fun over there. Everyone's
It's fun.
tweaking all day long. Everyone's drunk or high or something,
Yeah.
and they're all nice as shit.
Yeah,
you
what-
go
what-
into like any shop and they're just talking to you while they're making your sandwich, and you can tell like they're off the shits, and it's
Oh, yeah.
8 a.m.
Absolutely.
It's 9 a.m. and so am I. We're all having a good time here.
Dude, when I went over there, like I was walking, I went solo, and I was like walking around. There was like a random parade, like in the middle of the town, as there
Yeah.
fucking is in New Orleans. And like, there's like a part of town near kind of like the harborish area, and there's like a bunch of like homeless people there. They're either homeless or they're from like out of town, and they're just like hipsters. I can't even tell sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm like walking through there alone, like taking pictures and stuff, and then the dude asking me like, "You have any drugs?" I'm just like, "I fucking wish, bro. I don't have anything."
Yeah. They're pretty
Hey.
crazy over there.
It's a good time.
I think that city is built. It's like built on top of a grave, right?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
That sounds
it's
like some
very
shit that they would
haunted.
say,
That's
though,
what
that's
everybody
like-
says,
Yeah.
haunted, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I mean, I know me and the guys don't really believe so much in kind of ghosts. What do you think? Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't believe in ghosts. And then again, this is how I was just raised, what I heard.
See?
You know,
The noises come as soon as you say the word.
I did hear some rumbling. Let's chill. No, I'm just kidding.
like, I mean, I was just raised to believe that there's no such thing as ghosts. However, there is such things as demons pretending to be ghosts. So, I mean, like, I believe like in the paranormal, but
Boy.
not in the context
That
that.
better be Blue out there acting a fool.
You have like noise canceling headphones on, so you can't hear.
Yeah,
it.
I can't
but
hear that
there's
shit.
some rustling
some
going on
rustling.
outside, and it sounds so funny because like as you're saying this shit,
Y'all don't
it
tell
sounds
me
like
that.
someone's like jiggling the doorknob trying to get
Right.
in.
As we're talking about ghosts.
It's like,
The demon busts in. All right, I figured it out. I gotta kill you.
But no,
Figured out.
I've heard that. So like I've also heard that like whenever people try to like summon like dead family members, that sometimes demons can take the place of the dead family members and make you think that you're talking to a dead family member. Really, it's a
Yeah.
demon.
That's some insidious
It's
shit
like-
though. It's too convenient. Like, look, if there's no ghosts, there's no nothing. There's no afterlife. There's no nothing. Because if there is an afterlife, there's got to be ghost. Like,
Yeah.
your physical body is your physical body. If there's a soul after that, I feel like
You're
it's-
saying it will be proof or something.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
they have to coincide. They have to like go together. It's not like one of them can exist and the other can't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
Like you can always feel the energy, I guess, of like just memories of people like live in our head and stuff. So I mean, I feel like that's enough for me than to like depend on like, oh, like can I summon my grandpa back?
That's too much. Like, why, like let them go. They're done.
Yeah,
Let them
like-
rest.
Yeah, I
at
don't want
that
them to
point.
come back here.
Non's
It's
trying
not
to see
that fun
what
here.
you look like after death, bro. Like,
Oh God, no.
Never come back here again,
Yeah,
Grandpa.
dead
You
ass.
look awful.
Have you guys ever seen like so there's descriptions in like the Bible and the different holy books of how angels look, and people like have drawn out the descriptions like in detail. Angels look scary as shit.
They look horrendous.
Yeah, they look like really like octagonal, is that what it's called? Octagonal looking owls.
Yeah.
And it's just like a bunch of different owl shapes like put together, and it looks
Oh my
it has like
God.
tons of
Yes.
eyes. It looks creepy as fuck.
It looks like a bunch of different things morphed together with wings.
I don't know why.
Right?
but for
Is that
some
what I'm
reason-
thinking of? Like it's like a lump almost
Yeah.
looking thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, that like look, I guess, like I remember like going on Twitter and they were like biblically like this is what an angel really looks like, and I didn't know, like I don't know, like I didn't know that. I don't know. It was just weird. I just remember seeing the drawing and I was like, that makes sense though. Like for some reason, like that just makes sense. Like I feel like that's what angels are supposed to look like, or whatever type of fucking like. Why would they look like humans or
Yeah.
like?
That's the biggest reason why religion always thrown me off. Because everything about it, well, almost everything about it just seems so man-made.
Yeah.
Like it seems so convenient. It seems like someone trying to feel better about someone else that they knew that died was like,
Yeah.
well, they look like us and they live up there and they watch over us and like this and that.
It's
like
never that
the
simple,
universe's
yeah.
way. There's so much going on. It's not just
Yeah.
us. You know what I mean? Like there's no way that they're catering to just us.
Exactly. It's like there's no way.
That guy looks like my neighbor.
That guy looks like my neighbor.
Yeah. I feel
Hell
like things
no.
are too complex for it to like have started that way, the way religion says. And I feel like there was so much life before religion, because religion's kind of recent. Like there were tons of civilizations before modern religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and they didn't get along just fine, but they lived. You know
They
what I
had
mean?
their own sort of religions too, but they didn't really have religions. They had more like
They had gods.
like practices, yeah, like praying to the gods, like let's
Yeah.
sacrifice some
Yeah.
people because they didn't know but they had like tangible gods. Like
Yeah.
I can see it right there. This
Yeah.
thing is like helping me out. I'm gonna pray to it.
Like rain
You know what I mean?
gods. and
Yeah,
all
it's
that
not just
kind
like
of stuff.
random shit. Like, well, I think there's
Yeah.
a.
It wasn't like
Yeah.
Zeus was really in the sky. It's
Yeah.
like, nah, it thundered one day and we was like, oh, it's Zeus.
It's gotta be a motherfucker up there.
Gotta be that
with a big
guy.
old beard just shooting thunder. It's gotta be.
Hell no. I don't even know how they came up with that, because if you really think about it, it's like it's beyond what our minds can even comprehend. So like why even try to
'Cause it makes money.
decipher that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes
And it
money.
makes and it orders people.
Think about a story like the one I always think of to think like, okay, the Bible's bullshit, is like Noah's Ark.
That
There's
is mad.
absolutely no way.
Where were the other people?
Yeah, come on. I mean,
He
this is
did
what
it by
says.
God's will or something
Man,
like
God's
that.
will was strong as shit.
Yeah.
So in Noah's Ark, he has a revelation from God. God tells him there's going to be a flood, right? Save the
God
animals.
floods
So
like
he's building
the whole side of the planet
Because
in that
of what?
story. I don't fucking know.
what they do. Like,
Oh no,
know.
I
I'm just
remember.
testing you
It was
guys.
I learned about this in
Bible study?
in Jesus
yes.
camp.
All right. Well, knowledge for you. So there were these things. Okay, so this was back when, like demons and like Satan still had access to go to heaven and then come back to earth and like go back and forth like as he pleased, right? And as the like Satan's following, the fallen angels, they were following him and everything. When they would come down to earth, they would have sex with the humans, and then they would breed these giants. They were called, I forgot what they were called, Nemamites or something like that.
Oh, Mennonites?
Mennonites. I think so.
I don't
yeah.
know how I know that.
That's a Pokemon.
I pulled that
Don't
out of
lie
my
to me.
ass.
That's a Pokemon
Mennonites,
concept
something
right
It's a
like
there.
that.
Digimon. Don't lie to me.
And yeah, they were breeding these half demon, half human shits, and they were destroying everything, just running a fucking muck. And God was looking down like, yeah, this gotta go. Like, y'all, like, I'm done with this. And he was like, he told Noah like, hey, I'm about to flood the earth with this because they done did some like real fucked up damage down there, and I'm getting tired of it. So he sent the flood, and it like washed all them niggas out. And
That is wild. So
Yeah.
Noah was the only virgin motherfucker there. That wasn't
him
fucking
and
no
his family
demons.
and shit.
That's so whack.
Yep.
Oh, I don't believe that for a
Whack
second.
Well,
ass
it's because he
Noah.
worshipped God and he loved, Jehovah and everything. And,
Where are the footprints? Where are the fossils of these big people?
I know, right?
What is going on?
Whereas, like, we still have fucking fossils of the dinosaurs. You know what I mean? Like,
And you
how
don't
do we
think he
not
would
have
do that
evidence of
again
this?
No
now?
goddamn way.
Like, he wouldn't flood us again?
Exactly. But
After
no.
the 1800s, you don't think he will flood us again?
They just make it too easy to
Shit.
poke holes in, you know?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
It's
saying.
way too damn easy.
I feel like there's a lot of explanations for the stuff they're talking about, like the floods. Like that naturally happens on Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
of like the climate changing all the time, because of like activity out in the water. You know what I mean? Like in the middle of the ocean, earthquakes and shit causing tsunamis, shit like that. Like it happens.
Yeah.
And the world that they know is a lot smaller than the real world
Yeah.
is. You know what I mean? So they see their area flooded and they're like, well, the whole world must be fucking flooded.
I always say their stories are like, they just, something really happened and they just made it like a mythical story.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Yeah, something
That-
small
that
or
makes
something
sense.
major to them, and
Yeah.
then they just like upped it like 100
Exactly.
times 100.
Because that's
Made
all
it
they are.
crazy.
They're all just stories to me. There's some funny ass stories
Yeah.
though, but they're all just stories.
Just like one tall dude came in, fucked
Yeah.
all their wives, and like
Yeah, and
gave them
just
all
fucking
tall
left.
children. Now they're like, this guy's fucking Satan.
look, bro, you gotta
Get him out of this
save.
town.
You gotta save the horses and get out of here.
Get out of here.
Save the horses.
That's how it happened. Just like two of each animal. Like, come on, how is one person gonna like?
What
have
about the
energy
other
to
You
do
gotta
animals?
that?
feed them all, and then like, what if one of them dies?
What if they eat each other?
What if they eat each other? What if they don't get along?
What if
I
they
don't
don't get
know.
along?
Then what?
There's no logic to the story. How can you fit two of every animal on that? Like you need you need a yacht. You know what I mean?
How do you get
Yeah.
a gorilla? How do you get an adult gorilla onto a boat?
Fucking shooing him over with a banana.
Come here, gorilla.
It's
Have you seen
supposed-
the recreation of it? Like they made like a real life version of it. That bitch is huge. It's
you
like
for real?
in the middle of like Tennessee or something.
Stop lying.
That
I
bitch
didn't know
is big.
I didn't know that.
They built it like a couple years ago. That hole is huge, bro. You can't go inside. I don't think you can go inside for like a
that.
little
What's
bit.
the point?
I don't know.
For
That
show.
bitch is huge, bro.
Yeah.
Tourist attraction, I guess.
Yeah.
It's probably like super hollow and like, you know,
It's just
Yeah.
nothing on the
Hello.
inside at all. Trying to make it as cheap as possible.
So B, like before we kind of like hopped on the podcast, you were kind of telling us a story about something that happened recently with like some dude at the store, like at your
my
job, at your
God.
place of work.
Yeah.
Like this is as an example of like the kind of shit that women go through. Like just tell us the story.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry
so,
already.
Well, I apologize on behalf
Half,
of men.
on behalf of my gender. Sorry about that.
So basically, I'm just chilling, minding my own business, trying to make my money, whatever.
Trying to work.
trying to work.
Just trying to work.
And this guy comes in and he like buys light bulbs, right? I check him out and everything. He's fine. He leaves and then he comes back to return those light bulbs because apparently he got the wrong size. Then I exchange them for him and everything, and then he leaves again. After he left, he calls the store and he's like, "Hey, is this the girl that work up in the front?" And I'm like,
No.
and I'm like, who the fuck is asking? Because a lot of people call the store and ask that shit, and I'm always the one who's like, yeah, that's me. But yeah, he was like, is this the girl that work up in the front? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I'm the dude that came and bought the light bulbs. And I'm like, okay, well, do they not work or something? Like, what do you need? You know? He's like, there was like literally like kind of like a silence for like 2 seconds. He's like, just trying to see if I can get your number. I'm like, boy, if you don't get off this fucking phone. And I literally like hung up in his face, right? And I was like, I'm not doing this right now. And my coworker's like, what the hell? And my coworker's a dude, and he's like, and I'm like, what was that? And I'm like, some dude trying to get my number over the phone. And he's like, oh, because you're beautiful. I'm like, oh my God, shut the fuck up.
Him too. Yeah. No, he's like, let me play that card. Let me
Yeah,
Let me
exactly.
see if I
Let me
can
play
get
the
this to
rescue
work.
card. He's like, oh, that guy sucks. You should just talk to me.
get her while she's not thinking about it. Yeah, she won't see it coming.
It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. And then the dude calls back and he's like, am I gonna have to come up there and buy some more light bulbs? And I'm like,
That's like aggressive, but not.
That's a great line. That's a
I'm
hilarious
gonna have to go there
line.
and buy some more light bulbs. I will.
yeah.
It's the
and
most harmless thing in the world to buy, light bulbs.
at this point, I'm just like, now if you don't take me personally, this is how I function. If you don't take no for an answer the first time, I'm just gonna start fucking with you and trolling you. You know what I mean? So I'm like, do whatever you want with your free will. And then I hung up the phone. He comes up the store
Oh my god.
and like I have a line of people that I'm trying to like check out, and he's like the second person in line. He comes up, he's like, so when you gonna quit playing games? I'm like, bro, what do you want? He's like, I want to get your number. And I'm like, I don't do that at work. I don't do that. And he's like, all right, let me get your Instagram. I'm like, step to the side real quick while I just like finish this line down real quick, right? And it like was kind of frustrating because like my coworkers saw, right? And I'm like, somebody kicked this nigga out the store, you know? And I eventually like, you know, I get rid of the line and everything. And then he's like, so you gonna give it to me or what? He waited.
I can't believe that.
He's persistent. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's persistent. And then I write down like my Instagram on like a piece of receipt paper, and he's on his way. About like an hour later, maybe he DMs me and he's like, see, I knew I was right about you. And I'm like, what does that even mean? And I was like, he was like liking on my pictures and he was like, yeah, I knew I was right about you. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? And I just blocked him after that, and I was like, boom, like, nah, we're just gonna cut it off right here.
Wonder what he knew. What was he gonna?
That's what I was saying. Like, what did he call about you? Like, what did he?
I don't know.
He's got to figure it out.
I mean, I do have a picture of myself, like, you know, just like playfully showing like my ass on, like,
playfully
on Instagram. Like, just it's not like explicit. It's a semi innocent picture.
But it's funny because he was like, yeah, that's exactly what I expected.
Yeah,
first pic he likes.
Yeah, it was, and I was like, no.
He's like, that's why I waited at CVS for 15 minutes.
Dead ass.
Do women ever like that? Like that type of persistence?
No,
like ever.
I don't.
Who the hell would ever like that?
I know
any
some
woman
girls
that
that
does.
like that shit. They like the attention. They like the chase. And
But they're not going to
But
give
that's
it to
not
that
for
guy.
me.
They're not
so
going to like
strange.
give him what he wants though. Like if I call you out from the other side of the street, like, hey yo, and they're not going to be like, yo, I'm gonna fuck that guy tonight.
there's like
Right here.
there's like so many different
my
types
guy.
of
Come here.
girls. Like some like to be mean to guys. Some like the attention so that they can just be mean back. I'm bitches. And then and then there's some that just like the attention, because I'm not gonna lie, like I've seen some pretty insecure girls, you know. I mean, you know, not like, you know, shaming them or anything, but like, you know, just some girls are different than others, you know. And
For sure.
like some
And
just,
we need those women.
you know, they won't admit it, but they do need the attention, you know. And
We
I
have
don't blame
we
them.
have
I
attention to
understand.
give.
Yeah.
Those are the women that had like kind of depriving childhoods, or that grew up and weren't as attractive, and now they're very attractive. They're
Oh
like,
yeah.
The
Give
ugly
me here,
duckling.
give me here. I've been
Yeah.
waiting for this.
Yeah.
The ugly duck.
The ugly ducklings. Yeah,
Deadass.
those are the best type of women though. Because
Oh
they
my
have the best
God.
personality. They have the best heart.
Honestly,
You know,
yeah.
like someone who's been attractive their whole lives, guys and girls.
Yeah.
They're more
Boring.
likely to be like dull. Yeah, and just
yeah,
like
because they never had to do much.
Yeah. Never had to do much.
They're
Yeah.
used to walking into every room and everybody just like sucking their
Ooh.
dick. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Like they're just like, I already know I'm gonna get what I want all the time.
Yeah.
But when they don't, oh, they get fucking upset.
yeah,
Yeah.
no reason to like character develop. Like you just
Absolutely.
walking around just like, all right, everything's going well.
Yeah.
everything's been going well for a few decades now.
Like, do I need to actually be funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't.
So like, whenever you're like talking to guys, you know, this is interesting. Like I was talking to like some female friends of mine. Like typically nowadays, at least especially with like kids that are like younger than us too, they don't really give each other their numbers anymore. It's all just like, give me your Snapchat or
Yeah.
like your Instagram handle. It's like no one really gives like a number.
I feel like it's safer to do it, like to give out your social media before your number, especially if you're a female, because I have this one guy who's like a fucking stalker. Like he knows who he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Saint
it, like
Geo.
it's just so bad. Like he was harassing me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And he like even
horrible.
showed up to my house once. Like
Oh,
it was
that's
just bad.
fucked up.
You guys are
Yeah,
done.
it was terrifying. And like now I'm like, okay, like I like to be nice to people. I don't like to be mean all the time, you know. But I realize I'm like, okay, you can't be nice to everyone. Like you really got to scope things out like deeply before you give your number out. And especially as a female, you know, there's some crazy dudes out here that'll do shit with your number and like try to have some weird shit sent to you spammed, you know. Like it's just not safe to give your number out anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
and people can easily like play the nice card and shit, but they're not really nice people. At all.
Yeah. And like before I didn't know how dangerous it was to like give out your number until like I met this dude. Like he was like on some hacker shit, and I knew he would like, you know, do some crazy shit on the computer, go to the black web and like order shit that you just do not order, you know, off the internet.
Kitten heads and stuff.
drugs.
Drugs.
Yeah, and I'm like, why? Like, I'm like, no, like, don't. Why would you order that shit? You know? And I'm just like, yeah, you got to be careful because it's like he has access to the black web. Like, imagine what he could do with my number. You know, if he
Yeah.
got pissed off enough.
Yeah, it's
like,
find your address and shit. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
he
showing your
knows. He
address.
knows
you
where
just-
I'm at.
There's
So
all
it's
kind of
like-
crazy shit
You can
on
find
there.
like your parents' address, your parents' phone numbers, their names.
Yeah,
all that
like
type
I
of
tried
stuff.
that once. I tried looking up someone's number and like it'll tell you everyone who's on the phone plan, where they live. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, for whatever, I won't explain why, but for whatever reason, I've looked up stuff like that, even on Google, and you can just find that shit like that. You don't
Yeah.
even have to. There are like walls where you need to pay a little more to like
Yeah.
really get the
It's
info.
like $1.
But yeah, but it's like
It's like
a
a
dollar,
dollar.
and it'll be like, all right, you want their like parents' number and addresses too?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Sure, I don't
The
know.
Social
Like,
Security,
You
all
want the
that.
criminal records?
the criminal record, because you can find fucking
It's like
anything.
$1.
with enough
I
deep
promise
diving.
you.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It's terrifying. So I don't give out my number like that. I'll give my social media because it's easier to block them at least. You
Yeah,
know?
Absolutely.
And
then
they
they
won't know
number.
much about
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
And then they don't even know like because if you just they have your social media, they don't even know what city you're in. They don't know
Yeah.
anything. It's just it's just social media.
Exactly. Like I can lie and say I live in China and I'm here in Houston, fucking Texas.
It's crazy how we have none of those problems.
Yeah.
For real.
Not even a little bit.
I give my shit out willy nilly.
Yeah, willy nilly. You want it?
You
Sure. I
have it.
don't-
You have it. You have it.
Yeah, you have it.
Yeah. Damn,
You might not
hell
even
no.
follow me. I don't know. You might just throw this away.
Hell no. Must be nice. Damn.
Yeah, it's a different life. Like I prefer getting my gas at night. I like going at night when there's no
Oh
one
my
around.
god.
But like I know women who like would call me or like I won't go get gas like when it's dark unless someone's
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
Because they've had shit happen. It's nuts, man. People
Yeah.
are ruthless, especially at gas stations.
yeah, I don't know
Cool
how you go
world.
to the gas station at night. I go during the day.
Yeah.
I'm scared to go at night.
Yeah, I mean, you can see them coming from a mile away. What are they gonna do?
I'm scared. I don't know what they got. What if an old homeless man walks up to me with like a shaved off fork or something?
Now that is what I fear. I don't even fear someone coming up and robbing me. I fear like I'll keep an eye out in all directions because I fear a homeless man is gonna run
that's
up on me.
bro. That's
It
what I
can
fear.
happen.
Or like a dog, but like mostly like a large dog. Like, oh, here we go. I'm gonna
Them
kill
hood
a
dogs.
A homeless dog.
homeless dog. No, but it's mostly homeless people. Like a homeless person running at me with a sharp object is my worst fear.
Yeah.
Man, all right, so that brings us something interesting. So speaking of homeless people at gas stations, I was putting gas one time. I might have been like 18 or 19, and it was at night. Omar's favorite time of the night to put gas in the evening.
I love it.
So I'm putting gas in my car. I'm like looking one way, and this big homeless dude comes up to me. He's like 6'3", 6'4". He's a white guy. He's older, like grayish blonde hair, and he looks dirty as fuck. And he's wearing like a green like Vietnam kind of vet like trench coat kind of thing.
I don't believe you.
And he has like he does like you know like the classic like homeless guy gloves with the fingerless gloves.
Yeah.
You know, like the
Yeah.
dirty. And his
Yeah.
fingers are like dirty. His fingernails are real long and nasty. And he has a little junkyard dog with him. The dog looks dirty as fuck. And he's like, "Hi, my name's Adam." And I'm like, "Hi, nice to meet you." And then he like extends out a fist bump and shit. And then he starts telling me about his life and how he was in Vietnam and shit. And then he asked me if I have any change. I'm just like, I don't have any money. He's like, you have to have money. You're paying for gas. And I was like,
I don't have money for you.
I was like,
No
I'm
money for
using
you,
the
sir.
card.
I got it on this plastic card.
But I fucking and like whenever because he eventually walked off an event and I was like, man, that kind of I didn't like the interaction. Like
Yeah.
fucking trying to shake me down for money. Like maybe he was asking in a friendly way, but it didn't come off as a friendly way. It kind of came off as like you owe me money
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you are like at a better place in your life than me.
Yeah.
So you should give me money.
He's like,
kinda
I'm a
how it came
veteran.
off.
Yeah.
Making you feel guilty, but also making not making you feel guilty in the way like I'm not stupid. Like I'm here. Like I'm I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Give me some money. Give me some money.
Give me some fucking money.
Yeah, I don't like that either. When homeless people come up, like start explaining their whole life story. And
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
I've had homeless people do the same thing too, like where you tell them I don't got cash and like they give you options. Like I used to work in downtown. One time I had a homeless
Bro, you can
dude.
PayPal me, you can cash at me, however you
Straight
come.
up.
They're ruthless.
They
I
are.
and like I had a card and I was like, oh no man, all I got is card. And he was like, well, I mean it's an ATM right there. I was like, bro, I'm not going to the fucking ATM and getting you money.
There's an ATM right there, bro. I'll go with
There's
you.
ATM right there. Don't be
He's
selfish.
just watching over your shoulder. He's like, okay, that's the pin code right
You
there.
greedy man.
You greedy man.
Greedy man. Fuck
I
you.
see all the money in your savings account. Give me all that shit.
I wish I had no, I don't wish I had a softer spot for homeless people. But I don't have the softest spot. Like there are certain homeless people that will get me. Like the ones with the pets, they'll get me sometimes. I won't lie. Or like someone that looks like they're really just down on their luck, and they look like they're working and like they're wiping windshields, like shit like that. Even though
Yeah.
people don't like that, that goes to show like this person is trying.
They're trying to do something.
They're trying to
Yeah.
do something, But the people that are just chilling or like faking a limp. Man,
If I see a homeless man with headphones in their ears, nah, bro.
If I could turn invisible, I just trip him.
Yeah, man, I have like
I hate that.
little to no sympathy for them. I mean, I definitely think this country should help take care of people, but
Yeah.
it's to a certain extent. You know what I mean?
Because a lot of people just accept it and just like they're okay with that life.
Yeah.
They just keep diving further and further in it, and that's just the way they plan on
like
dying.
you have to remember these are grown ass adults that
Yeah,
like, fell
motherfucker,
down
I'm-
the wrong
I'm
path.
24.
You know?
I'm not giving you anything.
Yeah.
You give me some money.
Like I work downtown. I work at the CVS downtown, and you know that bridge right there by McDonald's in downtown, like where all the hobos like
what
go
street?
under.
Like Louisiana, Austin.
It's like
Actually, don't tell us
Yeah,
what
I'm about to say,
street.
don't
we
say- don't say
don't,
that.
we don't want
It's like
the
on a
people
curvy
yeah,
part,
don't
right,
tell
of the
us-
highway.
Yeah.
Don't tell us the street.
Yeah, like no, it's not.
No need,
I know
no need
what
to
you're
get
talking
specific.
about.
No need to
But
get specific.
anyways,
It's
there's
okay.
I
that
know which one.
bridge under downtown, you know, that like the hobos like to be at, and like
Yeah.
they're always coming into my job because you know like they have nothing else better to do, and like
Yeah.
they'll come
Menaces.
in like the store and like panhandle and do all of that, and like they'll run amok or they'll go in there and steal.
Did they ever hit on you?
Gremlins.
Yes.
Run amok like
What kind of game are you
It
gonna
is
spit?
disgusting, bro.
You want to come back to my slab of concrete over here?
What's
No,
up, girl? I got
like,
a tent.
Listen,
It'll
I got a
be-
what are
mattress
you gonna say?
outside.
It'll
You
be
gonna
the
love it.
ones that are like that you can tell like they've been homeless for not that long,
They're
but
freshly homeless.
Freshly
Freshly
homeless.
homeless.
Yeah,
You know,
freshly homeless.
There's a lot of people like that, and young people too.
Oh,
There'll
yeah.
be like people our age. And
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I
very
saw
sad.
Oh, well, not recently, but like a year ago, I saw a homeless guy begging, and he had like his sign, like his little cardboard sign, and behind it, he was texting.
Wild.
I swear to God, I have a
Wild.
video of it. He was holding it like this, like looking down. And I pulled up to the light, and I was like, "This motherfucker's texting on an iPhone, like on a new one." It was like an 8, and that was no. This was probably a few years ago. Then it was like an
Yeah.
8 or 9. I was like, "Bro, this guy's living all right."
He probably
Yeah.
wasn't. He
have a phone
couldn't
with
be
service?
homeless.
Yeah, he's not doing. Yeah, he's got service.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
mean,
service.
He's paying a bill. There's no
probably has a
Wi-Fi
home
out
to
here
go back
in this
to.
intersection.
Yeah. So yeah, continue with telling us this freshly homeless guy is hitting on you.
Oh yeah, actually, okay. So it was this freshly homeless dude that had like came into my job or whatever. Like you can tell he was, you know, homeless.
New to
but
the game.
he was new, yeah.
He was new to the game.
But honestly, like I couldn't really tell, and he tried hitting on me. He's like, "Can I have your number?" And I'm like, "No."
What are you
like,
gonna do
and-
with it?
Yeah, and then he like left, right? And then I remember like driving home, and he was just sitting on the side of the road with his pants off, dick out and everything.
Whoa.
Yeah,
way.
he was. I think he was high or something off of something, and I'm like, oh my god, and I was like, oh my fucking god. I think I have a video of it, and yeah, he just pants off, dick out, everything, and I'm like, oh my god. I was like, I can't believe, like I had no idea. Like he asked for my number, I'm like, does this nigga even have a phone? Like how is he gonna call me?
I go buy one from Walmart.
Yeah.
$25.
I'll
Go buy
steal
one of those like disposable
Yeah, it's
type
got 200
deals.
minutes on
Yeah.
it. We
He's
can
gonna
talk
send you
for
a
little
smoke
while.
signal.
Fucking burner phones and
Smoke
shit.
signal. Yeah, homeless people in downtown are crazy. I've had so many situations. I had this white lady one time, like a bigger lady, taller and like chunky, and she was sweating her ass off. It was in the
my
dead of
God.
summer. She had a sports bra, no shirt, and jeans, no underwear. And
my
I know
God.
she had no underwear because her pants were unbuttoned and unzipped and damn near showing her pussy.
Oh,
Like,
you can see the fupa?
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Like the
Yeah,
little
the
like
fupa?
the fupa.
The what's it called, the lonja?
that's like love handles though.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I
Oh
thought
yeah,
it was-
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, Lonha has the love handles. The
Lonha
fupa
has
is
the side.
like
Oh, okay,
the
okay,
fupa.
okay.
Yeah,
The
her
fu-
front part. Her
yeah,
pouch.
the fupa's like the pouch.
Kangaroo pouch.
The
She had her
kangaroo
kangaroo pouch out. So it's at an intersection, and there's
where you
like
get the
4 lanes
fajita
of
meat.
traffic, and she just so happens to be in front of my car, and she's just yelling. You know, she's doing homeless.
Just doing
yelling.
homeless
She's just doing
things.
homeless things, like yelling
Yeah.
at nobody, just like talking to nobody. And then the light turns green, and people start going, and now she's looking this way, and she's getting pissed. And I'm sitting there, and I
You
sit
in
there
the
for
way.
like a few seconds, and I'm like, well, that's it. I gotta confront this woman. So I start honking. And she gets mad. And she looks, she's like, what? I don't know what she's saying from the outside of the car, but she like goes from the front of the car and starts trying to walk up to my car. And I was like, I'm taking off. And I just gunned it and I left. And I was like, I'm not gonna deal with this woman. There's no good scenario. There's no.
God no.
Yeah, what are you gonna do when she gets to that window?
Dude, you have no idea how
not
many
lowering
like
that window.
pussies and dicks I've seen just like working at a simple fucking CVS. Like,
They just be on the corner like jerking off.
Oh my
No,
God.
It's like facing against the building or like facing just to the street.
yeah.
This is a random
Disgusting.
sidebar. I've seen a video of like somebody walking down the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and it was just a dude just beating off like on the stars. on the stars on the
He's
floor.
nutting on the stars?
He's nutting on the stars.
Dude, yeah,
Whose star was it?
I don't
think
remember the
saw
name.
that.
I wonder whose.
But he was just, he was just screaming.
It's even worse in fucking LA, man. I feel like, all right, so I feel like homelessness, I don't know if this theory is right, but I feel like it only prevails in places where the weather is decent. Like, in Houston, you can be homeless. It's hot, but you can live, right? Same thing with LA. LA has nice weather. You can't be homeless in, like, the north.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. It's way too cold. You're going to fucking freeze.
Even where I went to school, there was no homeless people. They
yeah,
all somewhat had a job.
That's true.
Or, like, lived with somebody else. But they weren't on the streets.
The weather is just too...
It was too cold.
Like
it's too
Washington
cold.
or something.
Yeah.
Like, are there homeless people? Like, I know New York because there's a lot of like
It
shelters.
gets cold in New York. Though.
It gets
Yeah.
cold,
But
but
New
like
York
there's a
is,
lot of
like,
you can go to the
temperate.
subways. You know,
It's temperate. New York gets hot in the summer.
Yeah,
They get, like,
they
but
sleep
it does
in the
get cold for
subways.
a long while.
They sleep in the subways.
It's like concrete and shit. But
That
somewhere like
makes sense,
Washington where
yeah.
they don't, or
Nah.
like I don't know, one of those other northern states.
Like Portland.
Oh
No.
my god.
No, those are northwest.
There's
I'm thinking
been
like
a-
northeast.
Oh, northeast.
Like
oh, God.
Boston,
like Maine.
Boston, Massachusetts, Maine.
There's
all those
homeless. I think there's homeless in Boston. I've seen plenty of stories.
Yeah, it
of
seems
white
like
men
place.
fighting homeless people.
I've never
Oh my
seen
god.
I've seen it.
I bet Boston homeless people are like the
The
worst.
worst.
It's the worst.
Boston is
They're
one of the
hardened,
worst.
hardened by the
cities.
weather.
Yeah, hardened by
Hardened
the weather.
by the weather.
Saw a bunch of Mark Wahlbergs when I'm it's like, hey, you got some cash on you? Spend me $1.
that. You got that down. You got that down.
So a dilemma I've been getting into recently with my girlfriend is that like she'll tell me that I don't listen because like she'll tell me things, right, and I don't remember it. Do you feel like whenever you're talking to guys, like say if you're talking to them for a long time and you'll tell them something that you told them like say a month or two ago, and they're just like, what? Does that kind of like piss you off, or do you feel like you never really encounter that?
No, I encounter that. I don't know. I don't get too upset unless if it's something important, you know, and like I've been telling you about this and you still forget. And like I told you about this, like, okay, like, cause me, I'm gonna make it significant and important. Like, hey, like this, I'm telling you this right now. You better remember when I ask again, you know? I don't really get upset, you know, cause I'm forgetful too, you know?
Absolutely.
But,
Is it like a common thing you think among guys? Because like I talked to like all my guy friends, they kind of said that's like experience the same thing. Like it's not that we're not listening. I feel like there's just so much like going on.
We just forget, like genuinely forget.
Yeah, we just
That's
forget.
anybody though. Like honestly, it depends on like what I tell you, but honestly, I don't know. I don't really get all that upset, you know. Like,
I think girls forget too.
I forget.
They do. We just
forget
don't. We
certain
just don't.
shit.
you know,
ask
I
them.
forget.
Yeah,
shit,
they just
so.
forget certain shit. Like you'll say, I don't even know a good example.
I just feel like they see the details of things
Yeah.
more.
yeah.
I only
Yeah.
get pissed off if I'm like literally talking to you and you're like on your phone or you're just not paying attention.
No, that
You're not
that
processing
gets me
what I'm
so
saying.
angry. If you're talking to someone and they're on their phone, they're just like,
Yeah, they're like no, I'm still listening. Go, keep going. No,
I
you don't.
hate
I don't
you.
have your undivided
hate you.
attention.
if they're doing something important, all right, I get it, right? But like
Yeah.
if they're just scrolling through Instagram, fuck you. Like
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
fucking like get off your phone. You know what
I'm
I
not
mean?
gonna lie.
Agreed.
Sometimes I do that, but that's honestly like I don't know. I'll do that. I'll scroll through Twitter and like my cousin will be talking to me. She's like, "You never listen to me," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm on Twitter."
That's different. That's your cousin. Who cares?
Yeah, like,
It's
Yeah, it's
fine.
not. It's
I
not.
It's
love
like a
harmless.
sibling or something. It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
exactly.
They don't need
but-
respect. They don't always need respect. Sometimes you get.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't need to.
But like I don't know. I don't find myself getting upset unless you're just not paying attention to me. Like I actually used to have a problem with someone that I used to like talk to. This wasn't really my ex, but someone that I was in like a situationship with. He would forget literally every fucking thing I would tell him. and then sometimes I felt like he had selective memory. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, we were talking about this just like 5 hours ago. How are you already free? He's like, I'm dumb. I'm like, no, bro. Like that's not an excuse anymore. It has to be something else to it because you're literally like gonna piss me off, you know? Like, how do you not remember this? He's like, because I'm dumb. And it would be like really important shit too that I needed him to like retain later, and he just would never remember. And it was with that stories I would tell him, or like, you know, something that was bothering me. Like he just like was just so stupid. Like,
Oh my god.
so stupid.
Hey, let him have it. Let him have it.
Let him have it.
I
Rip
let him
into it.
have it. Honestly,
He's got it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why that is though. Like, I wonder if it's like women place more importance in more things than men do.
I'm
or,
gonna tell
like-
you this.
or they ask about things from the past more
Well,
often than men
I'm
do.
gonna
Go
keep
ahead.
it a bean. Dudes we don't be like saying that much. Like I don't feel like if you look at the amount that a guy talks and the amount that a girl talks is different. So we
Yeah.
say like we'll probably say something really important and then that's it. Like most girls I know, they'll say something really important and they give me the whole backstory and then the future of it and what it could mean to her and all this shit. And I'm like, bro, I don't remember everything.
And then her girlfriend's boyfriend told her this.
Exactly.
And then,
and I'd be like, wait, you said
That's
that
a
nigga's
lot
name was
more.
Tyler? I don't remember what the fuck you said in the whole
hate
story.
That's
telling
like
names and
meaningless
shit,
shit.
telling like 8 names in a story. I'm like, just 2.
Man,
Yeah.
Just 1 or 2.
Two
Let's
max.
keep it
Yeah, it's
super
hard
concise.
to keep track.
2
Honestly.
names max,
2 names
and that's
max,
it.
bro.
I'm not committing any more to remembering any more names.
After the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
name,
He,
it's
she
like blah,
afterwards.
blah, 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 blah.
And so blah blah went.
Wait, so let me ask you guys a question. Sometimes I feel like guys won't listen or like retain the information, like or just anything that a girl will tell them if they just don't really like give a fuck about them like that, you know?
Like the girl or the what she's saying.
The girl. Yeah, it's like if I don't know, like if you really like want to listen to something, like I guess if it's that important to her, like you're gonna sit down and listen, or you're just either gonna be dismissive. Like is that a thing?
I
with
think it
guys?
depends on what it is. So like sometimes my girlfriend will just be talking to me kind of about random things, and like I have a lot of stuff on my mind going on right now with my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so like maybe some of those things I don't retain. But if she tells me something important, like I'm leaving, like I'm flying out of Houston on like March 26th, then I'll know that like, okay, March 26th, she's leaving. Like I'll remember that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if she tells me like, I've been feeling really sad lately, like I'm not going to be like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get on Instagram, and be like, oh damn, that's crazy. That's the worst. When someone says that's crazy, you know they're not listening, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the universal thing for like, they're like, oh damn, that's crazy. You know, no one's listening. They're not listening to shit that you're saying.
Someone saying that to their girlfriend. I'm so sad, these days, and I've just been feeling so weird. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Damn.
That's
Or no,
crazy,
the
girl.
long as like, damn.
That's crazy,
I don't
girl.
even care.
Want to fuck? You know what I mean? Like it's the worst kind of shit.
Hey, yo, word? Damn, that's wild.
Yeah, I agree. But then women just be getting mad about dumb things. Like,
Yeah.
I said, like let's say they said that they wanted to eat at this restaurant, and then like 2 weeks later, they're like, I want to eat at this restaurant. Like, remember I told you about this? You're like, oh no, I don't remember that. Like, what the fuck? But I did tell you I wanted to eat. Like, I've been telling you I'm in the mood for sushi.
It's like she's like deliberately like dropping hints to you, and you're just not like picking up on any of them.
I don't know. Listen, it's two different thought processes.
Yeah.
We gotta get on. We gotta get on the same page that like things aren't always gonna go the way we want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
don't need to tell me everything.
Yeah, you
I
accept
don't need to
what
hear
you
everything
That is
from
true.
you.
I feel that.
Nor does Gio want to hear everything.
Nor do I want to hear everything. I can barely remember my own thoughts. And you think I can remember yours too?
Yeah.
Hell no.
What's your birthday, Jen? No, I'm just
Fuck. I think it's January 1st.
Fucking New Year's is like the
New
easiest
Year's.
birthday to remember.
the easiest one. Yeah.
So like I was kind of having this conversation with some friends recently. So like I feel like men are super visual. Women are visual too, right? But like when you like talk to a guy, say if you're at a bar or whatever, what's the first thing you notice about a guy when he comes up to you?
First,
Great
okay.
question.
First thing that I notice about a guy, I guess, is like,
It can be physical, non-physical, whatever. Just first thing.
okay, first thing I'm gonna notice is like, I guess how he looks, like how he's like what he's wearing, how he's carrying himself. Like, oh, okay, like this guy is wearing like a clean shirt or whatever. His hair looks nice, all right, cool. He must take care of himself or whatever, right?
It's like hygiene, cleanliness
Yeah,
first.
yeah, exactly. Like, are you clean? you know,
Are you
Or
clean?
do
At a base-
are you
at a
least
base
taking-
level.
Yeah, are you at least like just decent to walk outside?
It's reasonable.
And then from there it's like me, I'm a very like, I'm gonna try to like get to know you like on like the first base before we even move any further. So it's like I'll talk to a guy and I'll be like, okay, what's something that like, like how are you gonna start this conversation? How are you gonna keep this conversation going, like this interaction between me and you, if you put in effort or not? Like I've talked to guys, like I've met guys and I've like, I guess like first impression, they'll just, if they're too sleazy, I guess, and they're like, oh, like, you cute or whatever, I'm trying to take you out, blah, blah, blah.
At a bar? They're saying that at a bar?
It just
Oh,
anywhere.
I was like, damn, that dude's wild.
No, shit. I'll
They
hear
will
that at
probably.
fucking Walmart trying to like get fucking pads in aisle 7 or something. Like for
Stand
real.
here for an hour. You're the first person to come up.
Dead ass.
What's good?
Yeah.
You leave and he just stays there.
Yeah. And then I'll just like, I'm not really impressed by that, I guess, because I'm just like, I like a deep connection with people. Like I'm not afraid to be alone, so like I'm cool with like being alone. So if I bring people around me, I really like want it to be people that I can fuck with,
Absolutely.
So
yeah, makes sense.
So I guess I'll try to like see like what he talks about or how he'll like talk to me or treat me. How is he gonna like, respect me and everything. And I can usually tell like by like, first impressions. Like I like it better if a guy is like, hey, do you watch so and so, you know, or who's your favorite Rick and Morty character? You know what I mean? Like shit like that. I'm like, okay, this is something I can work with. You know what I mean? Like give me something to work with, you know, to like keep this interaction going, to keep on talking. You know what I mean? And eventually, like you know, if it's a good, like decent conversation that I've had with you, like I'll probably give you my number. You know? So yeah.
That's a very risky thing to say to a girl, though. Do you watch Rick and Morty? Or
you can tell me anything.
Yeah, because then what if she's like, what's Rick and Morty?
Like, what's Rick and Morty? Then you got to explain to her.
Well, then
what
you
it
got to
is.
like turn around, or you can explain.
Pull the YouTube video. And
But see,
Yeah.
with guys, we are dumb in a way because to us, if she's like, I don't know Rick and Morty, it's like, okay, I'll think of something else because she's hot and I want to keep talking to her.
Yeah.
And we don't think like, oh, like maybe I can do better and find someone else who's interested.
We're like, no, I'm going to stay right here
Yeah.
and I'm going to get her
here
still.
and make this work,
She's
even
talking
though I
back
don't
to me.
necessarily like her.
It's the one for the
effort.
night.
It's the effort that you put in. Like if the girl doesn't know what Rick and Morty is or whatever it is that you're talking about, try to like put her on and see like how it like sways her a little bit, how she feels about it. You know what I mean? Like start a conversation from there. Oh, let me put you on real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just like treat me like you're trying to get to know who I am. But of course that's not the majority of guys out here nowadays. But
Wait,
it
what's the
makes-
majority? Is it the hey, what's up, girl?
Yeah,
Let me
hey,
taste
what's
it.
like, hey, what's
up?
up? Say,
I'm
yo,
trying to get
boss.
to know you. I'm trying to take you out. You know, your last nigga was lame, but you know I'm here now. You know, like,
and I'm instantly better than
How
him.
can someone
Yeah.
open their mouth and say things like that?
no, you
and
be
like
surprised.
stomach it, like, oh, I know people say some crazy
And it
shit.
works on some girls.
It works,
does.
dude. One time,
It does.
all three of us were watching a video of this guy who goes around like just grocery stores, the mall, Walmart.
Hey, my
stuff
boy
like that.
Gerald Houston, shout out. He's
Gerald
on YouTube.
Houston.
He's world famous.
It's not. I'm not gonna lie. It's very interesting. So he'll go up to like attractive women that he sees at the store, and he'll spit lines like that at them. Like some of them are more punny, but some of them are like that. Like probably like half or maybe a little more.
No,
are
the
just
majority,
like
the
that.
majority are punny.
You think
Yeah.
so?
Yeah, the
No,
majority,
'cause
the majority of Geralds are punny. He usually comes in with like a joke. And
Yeah,
then
he wouldn't
Yeah.
say no weird shit off top. It was like
Yeah.
always to make him laugh or
Yeah.
something like that.
He always goes in with something punny, and then he's like, "Let me get you a number," and then just like, "I got a boyfriend." He's like, "Come on." They're like, "Okay."
Well, okay,
yeah,
he tosses
yeah.
out
Some of
one
those.
joke, and then the rest of it is like a lot of
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
a lot of that
yeah.
type. Like it's
Yeah.
that's mixed in there for sure, and
If
it
you tell
worked
me- oh,
pretty
my-
hefty amount.
If
Yeah.
you tell me a joke, like my love language is humor. So if you say something pretty fucking funny, you make me laugh, like ugly laugh or whatever, just chuckle. I'm gonna be like, all right, cool. Tell me another one. Yeah.
You're doing
Start
good
doing
so
jokes
far.
to me right now in the middle
Yeah.
of Walmart.
Stand up comedy right now.
I need to hear a whole
Spotlight on
set.
him. Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Why did a Jew and an Arab guy walk into a bar?
Dead ass.
Yeah. You don't see that too often though.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm built different or whatever.
I'm built,
I'm built
different.
different.
Ass.
I'm
So
just
For real.
on the flip side, Gio, what's the first thing you notice in a lady?
Yeah.
The first thing I know, how she looks.
Yeah. Gio looks at the ass first.
I
Even a
look,
question.
I look at them and then I'm like, oh my god, I don't even know. Most of the time, I walk up to random people at like bars.
Mm.
I'm just like either bored or I've been looking at them the whole night, and I'm like, yeah, it's time.
Sometimes there's a connection. You haven't like talked to each
right.
other, but you're just like looking.
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
be like looking, and then eventually I'll just walk up to them and be like, all right. I don't. You know what's crazy? Most of the time I talk to somebody, I black out like midway through. It's either I'm too drunk or I'm just like too in the moment.
you just let autopilot Geo.
Yeah,
take
it just
over.
takes
Yeah.
over, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Autopilot's usually good though, because I feel like if I'm not on autopilot, I start overthinking shit.
yeah.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Then you're thinking about like what you just said, and then you're not even totally listening to what
Yeah,
they're saying.
man. I feel like I
And
do that a
don't
lot
know.
in job interviews because I don't go in drunk. So, you know, I should probably take like a few
Yeah.
shots before I go in. but,
Just to
like,
relax a
I wonder
little.
how
I'll
that
just
would
like
go.
I just start overthinking stuff, and then like they'll ask me questions. I'm just like, and it's fucking I can't answer.
Yeah.
I agree.
Literally, like after a while, I remember like the last job interview I had, which was for CBS. It was like he was just like, I just love talking to you. He's like he's packy, so he's like, I just love talking to you. Keep talking. I'm like, I don't know what to say anymore. Can we like wrap this up? Because I kind of want to leave. Like, do I have the job or not?
Yeah, I'm about to say, bro, just say, do I have it?
Yeah.
Do I
He's
come
just
in
like,
on
oh, you
Monday?
have the job, but I just want to talk to you. And I'm like, all right, cool.
You killed it. Yeah, went
Yeah.
above and beyond.
Yeah, all right, bet.
I hate like the interview questions. We kind of talked about this before that are just
Yeah.
like, tell me about a time you've had a challenge, or tell me about a personal goal. Like the interview that I had with the job that I have now, my manager just asked me straight up like formulas for like equations, and I was like, all right, I know that. Like I studied that. Like let's do it. And he was asking me like really interesting questions. Nothing like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I can appreciate that. Like that is something that is like it actually pertains to what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
So I can see why it's relevant rather than just like tell me a time you got a challenge and you you
And you
accomplished it.
persevered.
Yeah, or you persevered or something. Or tell me about a time you dealt with a difficult customer or some shit.
To be honest, that
Yeah.
part of my
Worst.
interview for my job was like the shortest part. Like they asked me like 2 questions like that, and then after that they was like, "Okay, go write some shit now, and then we'll see if you're good enough." And I was like, "All right, cool.
I'll do that.
I was like, "Thank you."
I recently had an interview, and like all like hour 45 of it was that type of shit.
Oh my god!
And then
Hour
like at the last,
45?
I interviewed with 2 different people, and the last like 20 minutes for each of them, I was asking them questions. Like they were like, "All right, what do you got for me?" And then I would just start asking them. But the beginning portions of it were just all those type of things, like
Personality
Tell me about a
and fit.
difficult time, or like tell me about a time you told someone a difficult thing that you know they didn't want to hear. And I'm like, dude, I don't.
You know what's crazy? I know they don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you don't give a fuck.
Like
Yeah.
you don't
There's
want to
no
hear
way
it.
you give a fuck unless it's like a really, really good story.
Exactly.
It's like I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of those type.
Most
of
of the time you
questions.
go into that interview, they know if they're going to hire you or not.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe just
they
the way
know
you
bef-
speak. Your
Yeah, they just want to
demeanor
know
and
if
Yeah.
you're like cool enough to be there. But if you're not, they're like, all right, he don't got it no more.
shit.
It's
Yeah.
all based off of personality fit. Like I got to the final round at a couple jobs when I was interviewing, and like the ones that I got to the final round at, they would like take you out to eat or whatever. So like I had went out to eat with like 2 different teams, and for some reason I just didn't click with like the group of guys.
Because
They were
you
just
don't
like
know them.
they were just like awkward, and they were like, all right, not to be like racist or anything, but they were just like really weird like white guys, and like you could tell they have their own like little clique
Yeah.
of shit,
Yeah.
and I'm just like I don't fit in that clique, you know what I mean? Like I'm from A-Leaf, like which is a more it's way different than where they grew up, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like they don't relate to me at all.
And you know what? That's fine. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't get the job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I still should be in the
Absolutely.
considering. But just because I don't know how to hang around these weird ass dudes I've never seen before, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's good to be able to mesh with just about anybody, you know, unless
I
they're really
mean,
just assholes
to
and
be
they
honest,
just
bro.
don't deserve the
Hey,
mesh.
but fuck them, because when they took me to this nice restaurant downtown, I ordered the most expensive thing on the menu.
That's real
So they
shit.
can suck
You
my
go,
dick.
girl. You go, girl. Didn't even eat it. Oh, I ate before I got
I didn't eat it all. I
took it to go.
I ate like half of that shit. And did yeah, I took it to go. I took it to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It was like a fucking nice ass steak. And I
That's
took
why
that-
they didn't hire you.
Hey.
Like, fuck him.
Nah, so you did that because you knew, like, I don't want this anyway.
I had a feeling because, like, all right, so they did a thing where they took me out with the guy who was also in the final round. So me and this other white kid, and
Oh,
this
just
kid
competing.
kid
Yeah.
he had like an MBA, so I don't have an MBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he already has a leg up on me, and I could tell from the way he was like talking with them that they liked him, and I was like, I'm not getting this.
Was he
fucking
white?
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fits right in.
fuck
And he had his
Yeah.
fucking he had his Aggie ring, and like some of the guys
Ah.
who were there, fucking-
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, get the fuck out of here.
The worst
But
type
I'm
of-
glad it worked
The
out for the
worst
better,
type of
Yeah.
people.
in my opinion, because like the job itself, like I was just desperate. I just really wanted a job out of college, but like that job I know was not a good fit for me because it was just not interesting.
Yeah.
I just need money. Anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, at the same time, they should consider you. But if you're like, you know, vice versa, and on your side, if you're not comfortable with them, they're not comfortable with you, and you don't like that, just get out of there. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a shame.
That's crazy. I've never dealt with that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. There have been times, like before I was working at CVS, I like worked in insurance,
Mhm.
and I just remember like one time, like I was like, should I be that person like wear like a button up and let my titties out so I can like, get this job or something?
Well, I'll be that person every day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
exactly. I kind of I did, and I did do that.
You got.
Hey, I got
before
the
you
job.
start
You gotta do what
talking,
you gotta do.
You got the job.
I got the job. Hey, I was looking cute in my little office get up or whatever. My little heels came in there, and I was like, I'm here for a job. Boom, hired right there.
I'm here for a
Yeah.
job. Well, you got it.
You start right
You got
now.
the right attitude. Just come and
Deadass.
demand a job.
Man.
That just made me think when you said heels and like the whole outfit, like
Yeah.
business just women's clothes in general is so uncomfortable looking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wearing heels, I don't know how y'all do that.
It's insane.
Nah.
I would never in my life.
Man, I remember like going to work and I would like, I'm not fucking wearing heels. I would wear slides. I'm like, I'm sitting at a desk. Nobody's gonna see my feet.
Yeah.
Like I'm putting slides on.
You have on slacks, and then it's just some Nike slides underneath.
Dead
Some,
ass.
some
That was
people
my
like
job.
it though. Some people they're into that. They like wearing heels and shit. Like
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
used to go to, well, I'll just say it, U of H. I used to go to U of H like on campus, and you would see girls walking around with heels. Like not because they had to wear, because I'm in the business program over there. So like sometimes people do actually have to wear business attire and like
Yeah.
heels and stuff like that. But sometimes they just be wearing it for fun. Like you can tell it's just for fun. And I'm like, how are you walking from the fucking garage over here with those things on?
Yeah, it
What's
takes a
going on?
lot of like strength.
Bro,
in
there
your
were girls in
calves.
college that used to like wear dresses every day. And I was like, y'all are aliens.
Yeah, aliens.
Like, what is wrong with you?
I've wore these sweatpants 8 days in a row.
I wore these ball shorts every day of the week.
every day of the
And
goddamn week.
you out here wearing heels.
I ain't
dress
laced
for
up
comfort,
shoes
man.
around here in a while. Y'all wearing real things.
Suits are particularly, they look really nice, but they're
They feel
extremely
like shit.
uncomfortable. Especially, I think if you live somewhere like California, it's probably better because the weather's nice. But like,
Yeah.
if you wear a suit in Houston, you're just gonna be a puddle of sweat underneath that
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, by the time you
Yeah.
get to wherever you need to go to, your back is going to be sweating.
Yeah.
All the way down
Hard.
to your butt, to your to your feet.
Yeah,
it's
ass
going.
crack.
It's going everywhere.
You got
That is
swamp
the worst.
booties.
You got swamp booty.
A swamp booty.
They need to make more comfortable suits, man.
They
need
just
to make
need to
them
get
out of
rid of
different
Make them more
materials.
breathable or
Make
something.
them more
Yeah.
breathable. Why do
You
they
know,
have to be so thick and
They've
like?
been doing that a
Yeah.
lot recently. Like I have some dress shirts that are like super like they almost feel like athletic kind of t-shirts, like almost like dry fit type shit.
I can get behind that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been making more stuff like that as of recently because I'm pretty sure it's been a problem for a lot of people.
Bro, that's one thing I'm not ready for. Like, once this pandemic is over, I have not been wearing real clothes. I haven't worn jeans in God knows how many months. Like,
Oh
a
my
really
God.
long... I don't even fit the jeans I used to wear anymore. But regardless, even if I did, I'm not wearing no jeans.
Man.
Yeah.
I barely wear some khakis every now and then when I have to work. Like, I can't imagine putting on real clothes or, like, having to tuck in my shirt or something
Oh
like that.
Yeah.
my god!
Oh,
Tucking
my
in the shirt.
goodness.
That's the worst feeling in the morning. I
I
hate
don't
that
have to
shit.
worry about that.
Probably the shirt
I
tucked
hate
in.
that shit.
Hell no.
I don't want to go back to that shit. I'm scared.
I'm scared.
I'm
I
scared.
quit. I can't do it.
I can't do it no
we're
more.
we're all scared. We're all persevering. I think that's a good note to end on.
Scared. We're all persevering.
We're all
We're
persevering,
doing our best.
persevering through these challenges.
Oh
All
my
right.
god!
Thanks,
I'm
guys.
keeping on, y'all.
All right.
Thanks, B.
All right.
Bye bye.
Thanks, B.
Of course.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Thanks.
That was like a religious vibe.
I know. We're getting